So little birdie on Twitter told me that you're potentially incubating a company.
Yep.
So let's hear it.
So you're going to join?
Sure.
All right. So, or you could invest at least.
Yeah.
So I actually think there's some synergies between founding a company, being an entrepreneur, and investing. For example, a lot of my job is to play psychological counselor to an entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur walks in with a set of problems, and I play like psychologist. So tell me about your problems. Have you thought about this? Have you talked to this person? Have you tried this? And I think the more you do things with your own hands, the more you remember all of those moving pieces and why things are difficult and what the subtle nuances or trade-offs are. So for example, firing somebody. If you've never fired someone before, it's really hard to give counsel to someone who's stressed about whether they should fire someone, how to fire someone, when to fire someone. So the more you do things, so we tend to believe that it's a good idea for us to be actively involved with our companies. Just that's what we do. We want to be the first person that entrepreneurs call whenever something happens. Nowadays, the first person they text is probably a fair way to say it. But we want to be the first person, the consigliere of choice. And one of the ways you can do that is by experience, but also having very specific experience, tactical experience. And I think by getting involved in companies at a very active level, it makes you sharper and preserves your skills. And so I would like to do that. I have an idea that I've been chewing around, debating for a long time, actually a very long time. And I think I've been able to work with a few people I really trust and respect to start assembling a team to chase after this. It's a very ambitious idea. It's a very difficult idea. But if it works, it should be magical.
And can you share more about that?
Well, it's been reported that it involves selling your home in one click or something like that. So imagine you have this illiquid asset. So for most Americans, normal mainstream Americans, their house is their biggest asset by far.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly illiquid. So if you wanted to sell it, it takes 90 days in median cases. You have to hire an agent. An agent charges you 6%. You don't really understand what's going on.
Stressful.
It's extremely stressful. There's no reason why, like any other asset, there shouldn't be a way of getting instant liquidity.
It's actually an interesting problem because I see one of the problems in, let's say, the Bay Area at large is that even if someone wants to move right now and they bought into the market early, where would they go? So they're just kind of stuck. And so the illiquidity gets murkier.
It absolutely does. Now, the Bay Area is atypical in many ways compared to the residential real estate market in the United States. So the median home in the United States is worth $254,000. So clearly the Bay Area is on a different planet, sort of. But on the other hand, there are asset class. A house is just one version of an asset class. There's cars. So people trade in their car to a dealership all of the time. They lease a car, perhaps, in fact, for the convenience of at the end of the lease not having to sell and just turning over the keys. So we believe that fundamentally that should be true for residential real estate. Now, the hard part is how to deliver that experience. And we're working on that.